Guys, as Cecil here today, I provided you with a very good book from Jim Collins. It's good to great. I'm gonna read it for you. Let's go and see what happens. Okay, the challenge built to last. The defining management study of the 90s showed how great companies trumpet over time and how long-term sustained performance can be engineered into the DNA of an enterprise from the very beginning. But what about the company that is not born with great DNA? Means the companies with great DNAs are great. Genetically, yes. How good companies, medical companies, even the bad companies achieve enduring greatness. The story of business is being great, is being the number one, is being the brand new one. Yes. Okay, so this book is gonna talk about how to be new, how to be good and great. If you are good, move to great. Let's study. For years, this question preyed on the mind of Jim Collins. Are there companies that defy gravity and convert long-term mediocrity or worse into long-term superiority? And if so, what are the universal distinguishing characteristics that cause a company to go from good to great? The standards. Using tough benchmarks, Collins and his research team identified a set of elite companies that made the leap to great results and sustained those results for at least let's go for the okay. Now it's better. Results that sustain those results for at least 15 years. How great? Means they researched for 15 years, and after the leap, the good to great companies generated cumulative stock returns that beat the general stock market by an average of 7 times in 15 years. Better than twice the result delivered by a composite index of the world's greatest companies, including Coca-Cola, Intel, General Electric, and Merck. Means they were so better and so more profitable from the companies like Coca-Cola and Intel and General Electric. The comparison. Now he's going to compare. The research team contrasted the good to great companies with a carefully selected set of comparison companies that failed to make the leap from good to great. What was different? Why did some set of companies become truly great performers while the others set remained only good? Now he's talking about the why the good companies are gonna get great, and he's going to make an enough capacity for our minds to accept the hows of the book. Over years, the team analyzed the histories of 28 companies in the study. After sifting through mountains of data and thousands of pages of interviews, Collins and his crew discovered. So, and it was such a laugh thing that he says his crew means his army. The key determinants of greatness. Why some companies make the leap and others don't. He's gonna repeat the question. It is good. It is good to repeat the question to make enough capacity. Okay, good to great. Why some companies make the leap and others don't. Jim Collins, an imprint of HarperCollins Publishers. HarperCollins, yes. Good to great companies was talking about copywriting 2001. Wow. 20 years ago. by designed by Annie. I don't know. Let me take the optics. Okay, go. This book is dedicated to the chimps. I love you all, each and every one. Contents: acknowledgement, preface. Good is the enemy of great. Level 5 leadership. First who, then what. What Collins talks about it a lot. Convert the brutal facts. Okay, the hedgehog concept, a culture of discipline, technology accelerators, the flywheel, and the doom leap, from good to great, built to last, frequently asked questions. Okay. Now the first part I love. Members of the Good to Great research team assembled for team meeting January 20. First row and last row, Navid Nagabi. Itself acknowledgement. To say this book is by Jim Collins overstates the case. Without the significant contributions made by other people, this book would certainly not exist. Means they help Jim Collins to do so. It is actually this. It is the miracle of teamwork. At the top of the list are members of the research team. I was truly blessed to have an extraordinary group of people dedicated to the project. In aggregate, they contributed something on the order of 15,000 hours work to the project, and the standard they set for themselves in the quality of their work set a high standard for me to try to live up to. As I struggled with writing the book, I pictured all the handworking members of the team who dedicated months, in some cases years, to this effort, looking over my shoulder and holding me accountable. It means he's adding value to his teammates. He's praising them, he's blessing them, challenging me to create a final manuscript that met their standards, worthy of their toil and contribution. I hope this effort meets with their approval. Any failure to reach that standard rests entirely with me. Members of research team for Good to Great. In addition, I would like to thank Dennis B. Oh, he's talking about. Finally, I'm deeply thankful. Me too. Pass it. Preface. At the start, he's talking about, as I was finishing the manuscript, I went for a run up a steep, rocky trail in El Dorado Spring Canyon, just south of my home in Boulder, Colorado. I had stopped on top at one of my favorite sitting places with a view of the high country still covered in the winter coat of snow, when an odd question popped into my mind. How much would someone have to pay me not to publish Good to Great? What? It was an interesting thought experiment, given that I'd just spent the previous 5 years working on the research project and writing this book. Not that there isn't some number that might entice me to bury it, but by the time I crossed the $100 million threshold, it was time to head back down the trail. Even that much could not convince me to abandon the project. I'm a teacher at heart. Me too. As such, it is impossible for me to imagine for sharing have what we've learned with the students around the world. And it isn't the spirit it isn't the spirit of learning and teaching that I bring forth this work. After many months of hiding away like a hermit in what I could call monk mode, I would very much enjoy hearing from people about what works for them and what doesn't. I hope you will find much of value in these pages and will commit to applying what you learn to whatever you do. If not to your company, then to your social sector work, and if not there, then at least for your own life. Jim Collins, he's giving his email. Bless you. And let me